recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios Brisbane on 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Z Games.
With 10 years experience and over 500 episodes,
Z Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture.
Want to reach out? Message us on Facebook at ZEDGamesAU.
hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
You're listening to Z Games here on 4ZZZ. I'm Maylee, and I'm in the studio with...
Hazel.
And Paul.
How have you been, Maylee?
I've been sad. This is the first time in months I've been behind the wheel of this studio. So I guess I'm happy. I'm in a weird headspace is what I'm getting. But I'm excited because I get to spend tonight talking about video games with you. And then afterwards, I'm heading down to Netherworld.
Why would you be heading down to Netherworld?
Heading to the Nethers.
Heading down to Netherworld
That's what
because
they say.
We are there with our friends tonight. Well, not us, but other Z gamers. Currently, we're running a indie dev showcase.
That's what it's called. Yes.
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 just confirming. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. The show will be on until 9 p.m. Am I correct? 9 p.m.?
I believe so.
Yes.
From 6 till 9, I think.
We've decided if that wasn't the actual decision, it is now.
It is now. And if it was supposed to finish earlier, I'm sorry, Ben, it's going to keep going.
Yeah, I don't think earlier. I think there'll be stragglers, probably, honestly.
So if you're listening to this as we go live, you still have time to head down to Netherworld.
Yeah, if you haven't decided what to do with your Thursday night, Netherworld.
Like, you could stay and listen to us, and we love it.
Get your portable radio, put it on your shoulder, and walk down
Get
to
your
Netherworld.
boombox.
The boombox.
Head on down
Not to be confused
and
with Steven Spielberg's Bloombox. Boombox. Oh no, I spoonerized it.
There will be some locally made games on show that you can play. Some of them are still in development and not even out yet, so you might be one of the first people in the world to play it.
I've tried some of them before.
Yeah.
Very, very fun. Looking forward to them. And
Schrodinger's Cat Burglar looks real cool.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. I was down there earlier. I talked to the guy, and
if you don't know
it's
about
looking
that
good.
game,
It's looking good.
You don't need to know anything more than Schrodinger's Cat Burglar.
It's most self-explanatory.
Go play it.
Bears in space.
Pretty
You
self-explanatory.
know what? Actually, you're probably less bears than you're expecting, but it's a banger.
All right.
But if you're sticking with us, we have some news for you, and it is a big week. So I believe you've prepared this earlier for us.
I have.
Let's go back to past Paul.
This past week was video game conference season, and as such was packed to the brim with video game announcements and news. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Summer Game Fest kicked off the week's activities with gameplay for Mortal Kombat 1, taking place in a new canon created at the end of the last game. Alan Wake 2 showed off its pulpy scares, and we saw a big chunk of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 got a firm release date of October 20 this year. Capcom announced the upcoming Exoprimal will have a crossover content with Street Fighter 6, so you'll finally be able to throw a Hadouken at a T-Rex. A zombie shooting and driving game called Toxic Commando is coming from legendary film director John Carpenter, built in the same engine as SnowRunner, so you can expect some serious vehicle physics. Perhaps the most exciting of all was this, and many of the other events had a stage and a crowd, which we haven't seen since before the pandemic, which means a return of awkward presenters and surprise celebrities.
Nicolas Cage!
Oh, wow, yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be invited to your very, very cool club, everybody.
Nicolas Cage graced the stage to wild applause to help announce that he is an upcoming character in the horror game Dead by Daylight. Microsoft was the only platform holder to host an event this year, and they had a lot to prove after securing so many developers under their belt in recent years. The show started with footage from the new Fable, which showed very little that could be considered gameplay, but did feature comedian Richard Ayoade as a giant you will be fighting in the final game. Compulsion Games of We Happy Few fame revealed South of Midnight, a heavily stylized game exploring folklore in the American Deep South. RPG studios Obsidian and In Exile showed off Avowed and Clockwork Revolution respectively. Avowed is a first-person fantasy action RPG where you play a powerful magic wielder and is described as closer in scope to the Outer Worlds than Elder Scrolls, while Clockwork Revolution is a departure from In Exile's usual RPG style and shares many similarities with Bioshock Infinite. The new Forza Motorsport is on its way with a release date of the 10th of October, and Microsoft Flight Simulator is adding a slew of new features for its 2024 update, including content based on the modern Dune films. Atlas was represented heavily at Xbox Showcase, showing off 3 games that will all come to Game Pass on day 1. A remake of Persona 3 subtitled Reload, a tactics game, Persona 5 Tactica, and a new IP, Metaphor Refantaseo, which looks to share many similarities with the Persona and Shin Megami Tensei series. Sea of Thieves is getting a new campaign based on Monkey Island. It features many of the series' characters and voices, as well as recreated locations. The Legend of Monkey Island comes to Sea of Thieves on July 20. The show ended with a 45-minute deep dive into the incredibly ambitious Bethesda sci-fi RPG, Starfield. Ubisoft came out swinging with some big titles this year. Star Wars Outlaws is a new open-world third-person action game based in the period between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, based in James Cameron's Avatar universe, is a canon story that will fit in with the movies. You and a friend in co-op can explore the world of Pandora in first person, fighting the RDA and riding animals of the planet. It only looks a little bit like Far Cry. While the remake of Prince of Persia: Sands of Time is still missing in action, a new game in the series was revealed. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown takes the series back to its side-scrolling roots, but also moves to a Metroidvania-style structure with a focus on combat, fast action, and time-based magic. Being Ubisoft, they had not 1, not 2, but 3 Assassin's Creed games present. Assassin's Creed Mirage is the more traditional title set for release later this year. Assassin's Creed Nexus VR is a new title being made for the Meta Quest and promises a full Assassin's Creed experience in VR. You must provide your own straw. Lastly, the free-to-play title Assassin's Creed Codename Jade will take players to China on their mobile device. You could register to be part of the playtest on the official website. This is only a small amount of the game shown in the last week. If only there was a way to share more of them in a short time. Path of Exile, Witchfire, Crossfire, Revan, Two Lies of P, Sadland, Throne and Liberty, Warhaven, Party Animals, Crash Team Rumble, Warhammer 40k, Space Marine 2, Yes, Your Grace, Snowfall, Baldur's Gate 3, Pal World, The Lord of the Rings, Return to Moria, Final Fantasy 7, Ever Crisis, Banishes, Ghosts of New Eden, Under the Waves, Wayfinder, Star Trek Infinite, Last Vanguard, The Time Warrior, Hyper Light Breaker, Hellskate, Beastie Ball, Stellaris Nexus, Space Trash Scavenger, Haunty, Simpler Times, Viewfinder, Henry Half and Carcoon, Ete, Summer Hill, Retro Gadgets, Mars First Logistics, Saltsea Chronicles, The Cosmic Wheel, Sisterhood, Shadows of the Damned, Remastered, Talos Principle, 2 Baby Steps, Human Fall Flat, 2 A Highland Song, Goodbye, Volcano High, Chance of Senna, Nightscape, Stray Gods, Des Pilotes High, Chroma, Solar Punk, Love Shore, Breaker, Wild Mender, In Stars and Time, Word Factory, Barton City, Soccer Days, Station 2, Station, Frog Song, Airborne Empire, Sticky Businessman, A Tiny Sticker Tail, Everdeep Aurora, Cookie Cutter, Ruffy and the Riverside, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Kinitsugami, Path of the Goddess, Payday 3, Overwatch 2, Invasion, 33 Immortals, Fretless, The Wrath of Rifts and Judgment, Towerborn, Dragon's Dogma 2, Pragmata, Breath Edge 2, Citizen Sleeper 2, Macabre, Ebenezer and the Invisible World, and Sonic Superstars. That was some news, I guess.
You are listening to Z Games here on 4ZZZ. I am Maylee and I'm in the studio with
Hazel.
And Paul.
I played a prank. I didn't let them know that we were going to air until a bit before,
That's
so
okay.
we're a bit shaken up.
I'm always ready to go.
Yeah.
I was actually really impressed. I'm like, we're on in 5 seconds, and we're
just cans on.
You
off we
too.
go.
I answer the phone all day for a job, so
I'm proud of you.
I'm always ready to go.
I ignore the phone all day for a job. I can do things instantly. I can get under the table in my office so quickly. They're like knocking. I'm like, I just crawl over and I switch the light off. Like, it must be automatic lights. Works well.
Impressive.
Actually, it doesn't work that well. I have a glass door, but I don't care.
So, in case you've just tuned in, we were previously listening to some news where Paul told us 100% of all the games that have been announced recently.
No, like a third.
No, it must have been all. There was a lot.
No.
Surely that was all of them.
So the songwriting process was me copying and pasting randomly, so there was no real pattern, and just singing the length of the song, going, okay, well that gets me up to that bit, and that gets, okay, I'll need like 10 more games.
I don't know how you get that rhythm so good. It's
just oompa, oompa, bum.
Yeah, but like you're so good at saying things to a rhythm. It's really impressive.
Thank you. I
mean, you do it with the review intro live as well.
I used to have
cool.
a band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
And I was
not impressive anymore.
I was a weird art student that did like performance art with like really focused on automation, where I just free form speak. But I didn't need to use words. I could just blah.
Why were there so many games?
Because it's been conference season and it's been very exciting for me.
And only you?
And only you. You're the only person watching. It
really has me. I'm on many gaming discords and I'm up at like 3 a.m. I'm going, hey, who's up? Who's ready to watch? No one. No one has joined me this year. I think a lot of my friends are now middle-aged people, and so they are like need their sleep or they die.
But here we now have the opportunity for you to have a little personal Discord chat with all of the listeners.
With everyone. It is difficult though, because one, my main interest is small things that maybe don't really get a lot of attention. There was, I'm just going to shoot on tangents. One that just came out on PC Gaming Show, Macabre. It's a Australian-made.
We love it.
Survival.
We love it.
Horror.
We love it.
Extraction sort of shooter. Well,
okay.
Not so much shooter. Well, a little bit.
I guess we love it.
So, no. If you said that to me, I'd be like,
you had me and then you lost me a little bit.
It's like if I see a game with farming in it now. Unless it's got some real twist, I am just moving on my brain real quick. I've seen this. But it's funny. It's got like
humor.
Yeah, so there's that levity in the horror. So it's like it's a bit of some guy sort of like made a device that will sort of return you if you get killed. So it's not too bad that you're going to go in and get slaughtered. And there is just some funny dialogue. So it's like play with your friends, but you still might get your face ripped off. So it's still tense, but it has the levity to it. I'm like, I'd like more horror that does that.
Humor.
Yes, very much so. Yes. So that's good.
But
great. Yeah, we had all the big heavy hitters. There's, of course, Starrim or whatever. What's the
Garfield?
Starfield. I was like, man, I give it so many wrong titles on purpose. I'm starting to.
I just called it Garfield, and you didn't even notice.
It's me as well.
I didn't notice.
Like,
I'm stealing that joke from back pocket. I'm sorry, Hex.
No, I think it's fine. It's not for me. But if you're into your Bethesda RPGs, it's huge. It's ambitious. You can make your own starship. You can fly around. But out of the mainstream things, I actually just really, really loved the new Prince of Persia. It is a 2D side scroller again, but it actually kind of reminded me of Guacamelee with its combat.
Oh.
Like lots of heavy combat, lots of big monsters you're fighting, but also they integrate some time mechanics so you can sort of say a boss has an unblockable move, but it actually takes up half the screen, so you can't dodge past it anyway. That's okay, because you can just reverse time to when you were on the other side of the monster and stuff like that. So it looks really kinetic and fast and just really solid. So that was probably out of the big mainstream stuff. But, then we had new Capcom games. I mentioned in the news, Street Fighter 6 Cross Exoprimal, the new dinosaur shooting game. So you can play like an android version of Ryu and throw a Hadouken at a T-Rex. I'm like, I like silly. Good job, Capcom. You guys are knocking it out of the park. It's been exciting. It's still not completely over. There's still a couple of conferences and stuff left. And I actually didn't even get a chance to fully finish watching Upload VR, which was this morning, showing off new VR games. Although there's been a good couple of little VR games. There's a VR remake of The Seventh Guest, the old PC adventure game, which actually looks pretty rad.
Isn't that from the 90s?
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, the 90s.
No, I'm just trying to think about like how you would turn that into VR because...
Well, it was always it's a first-person game.
Yeah.
You're walking around a mansion and solving puzzles.
Yeah.
They already did Myst in VR.
Yeah.
Same world with it. Look, one that didn't get mentioned at Devolver, which had an entertaining show as usual.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never watched a Devolver conference, they're fun to watch, and you don't have to care too much about games because they barely mention them. But one game they did announce was Baby Steps, which is Bennett Foddy's new game, along with...
My ears have perked up.
Well, and weirdly, it's another walkie-climbing game. Some people were like, "Oh, it looks like
Is
Quap."
that the technical term?
Walkie-climbing game. Well, they call it a walking simulator.
It's
But in the
still
term
like
of,
classic Bennett Foddy. You have to control all of your limbs with different buttons, and it's horrible.
Each of his legs, yeah. So it's third person, like open world, Bennett Foddy walking sim with a middle-aged man-child. With quite a bit of humor in it as well. But yeah, climbing mountains and sliding down mudslides. Like, it's probably the most ambitious thing he's made. So Baby Steps. And it'll come to most everything, undoubtedly. It'll be YouTuber, streamer bait, but I don't care.
What did any... I know there were many games that you were uninterested by. Did any games stand out that made you mad that they exist?
I think I've got over that as a person. Like,
that's so nice. That's growth.
Yeah. Look, the only
zen
things that make
place.
me mad are just when it's a property I might care about that's being taken by like Web 3.0 people that are like wanting to inject NFTs and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yuck.
Yeah. So, but I also just
And
doesn't
you would be
hurt the things that I used to like. You know, there's a terrible Dungeon Keeper game on mobile. I've still got my first 2 Dungeon Keepers.
Can I kvetch about Web 3.0 stuff infiltrating games?
Yeah.
Because you know VentureBeat, the news website?
Yeah.
And their GamesBeat section?
Yeah.
Used to be so good for industry news. Now it is like all just, this game has NFTs, you should invest in it.
I love investing in games. What a good... I like it when my hobby becomes my job.
Yeah, it's gross. Anyway, not interested. Haven't been on the website since.
How many NFTs do you own, Maylee? Got some of those monkeys?
I have drawn art which has not been shown to or published anywhere. Shown to anyone, published anywhere. So it's my own little personal NFT called a drawing. And it's worth, theoretically, millions.
Millions of Melee bucks.
It's literally priceless.
Until I show it to anyone,
because you haven't put a price on
people
it.
can't tell me that it's not worth millions and that I'm not the next Da Vinci.
Yeah.
If I showed it to someone, they'd probably say no.
This is some kind of philosophy.
This is Schrodinger's...
Going too far off
Schrodinger's
games,
cat
really. Anyway, I think we've gotten through, what? Half
3
of
games?
them now?
I mean, we've barely mentioned anything, but there's just too much to mention. It'll trickle out of it. If you're interested, I suppose I'll pitch a website I have no association with. It used to be E3 Recap, and they changed it to Games. I'll just type it in and then I'll find
This
it.
was all rehearsed and scripted, as you can tell.
Obviously, I thought about this well in ahead because they had to change the name because
it's a
E3
good
doesn't
thing you
exist
don't have
anymore.
any affiliation with them because they would be mad right now.
I mean, you can still get to it by typing in E3 Recap. It's just called gamesrecap.io now. And what they do is they link to all of the presentations, but they also link to all of the individual trailers and catalog all the games. So,
Can you imagine if they paid for that promotion? Because like that, we would not be getting that money.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we
who needs to know?
would.
Who needs to know the name of a thing that you're doing? Just go to the internet and type games, and you'll get exactly what you want.
This is Z Games on 4ZZZ. I'm Maylee.
And I'm Hazel.
Thank you. No, you've made it worse. Now,
What are we doing now?
Well, we've spoken about lots of games that have been announced that are coming out that we can look forward to, but sometimes you lose a game that is dear to you.
Sometimes you do.
And it's important to take a moment to appreciate all the good times with that game. So tonight we're going to do that. What game are we celebrating tonight?
Blazeball. A game that took up a solid year of my life, I think.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
I don't know that much about the game, but I've listened to this segment, and I can tell you, if you're listening out there and you don't know much about Blazeball either, after listening to this, you may not understand Blazeball, but you will feel Blazeball. Because I feel Blazeball now.
Everyone's been asking me for a long time to talk about Blazeball on the show, and I've always felt weird about it because I kind of tuned out in like 2021, and the game kept going, and the community kept going, and I had no idea what was going on. So I felt weird talking about it as someone who hasn't known what's been going on in a long time. But now it's over, so I don't have to worry about that.
Hell yeah.
Here we go.
Let's get started.
We are no longer participating in the cultural event known as Blazeball. On June 3rd, 2023, Blazeball developers The Game Band announced that the next phase of the game was cancelled and that the wacky, absurdist, horror-themed baseball simulator would not be returning. This news was pretty personal for me. I signed up to Blazeball on August 6th, 2020, during the game's third season, and I was immediately faced with a choice. There were 20 teams with all sorts of wacky names, and I had to pick just one to root for. Based purely on vibes, I selected my team, the Hellmouth Sunbeams. Blazeball is a great game on its own, and I fell in love with it immediately. But what made it a so-called cultural event was the live nature of the game and the community that sprung up around it. In those early days, we Sunbeam supporters were entranced by players like Elena Bella Hollywood and Randall Marijuana. We helped create extensive lore for a mid-game server crash that was dubbed the Grand Unslam. And we sobbed over the incineration of Emmett Internet, a player that we had decided had a CRT monitor for a head. Within a week of joining, I'd started an unofficial Sunbeams community Discord server named the Solarium. That server now has 1,200 members. Now that Blazeball is over, I wanted to share the thoughts of the people who experienced it with me over the last 3 years. The following is some of what I collected. Can I get your name and pronouns? Lucas. She, her.
Hi, I'm Amadis. Pronouns are they, she.
Tio. She, her, they, them, also good.
Garth. They, them. How did you get into Blazeball? A friend mentioned it in conversation. It sounded interesting. I fell into it head first.
I happened to catch Kat Manning's first Blazeball explainer and decided to check it out. I remember being especially enamored of the fact that people were making music about it. At the time, I had no idea that in the next couple years I'd join those musicians I so admired and learn to make music about fake sports.
I got into Blazeball in 2021. I want to say I saw someone on Discord post about it. I supported the Boston Flowers since I showed up, but I was going to dual team the Atlantis Georgias.
Blazeball is an absurd eldritch horror baseball simulator passive browser game in the middle of a huge collective art jam. You just watch it run, try to predict the outcomes, and change the rules with your team, and all of the info beyond the names and play statistics of the players is made up together by the fans, who are all incredibly creative. There's art, stories, zines, podcasts, streams, music, a whole store of fan-made merchandise that all supports various charities. It's the most wonderful, ridiculous, uncanny collection of people, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
I would explain Blazeball as a baseball fan simulator, but you live in a fever dream. It's like a school playground version of baseball.
Blazeball is an absurdist, randomly generated fantasy baseball simulator with horror elements. What's your favorite Blazeball moment? Oh god, that's a huge question. Probably the end of expansion. Sat around watching the final teams getting devoured by the black hole, the universe ending, sharing stories, telling tales, existing within community and love and peace. Nobody was panicking by then. It was all, yes, this is ending, and we don't know what'll happen, but we're together. And that was really wonderful.
The era finales. It's hard to pick one over the other, but I cried when the Hall Stars won their battle and were released, our love of them and tribute to them fueling their victory and their escape from the game, and their soul songs echoing out across the league, finally free. And of course, when my beloved beams proved we couldn't read and collectively directed our little sun emoji to impact the coin, our players scattered but their names inscribed on our hearts, discovering my teammates in Discord chat singing a song I'd written as we all closed in on what we were sure was certain death, together at the end of all things. And all the dead teams and dead players emerging from the hall, led by the Tigers and the Garages to finish the job. Our tributes to our lost players this time fueling our own attempt to escape nullification and watching it all be consumed by the black hole in the end.
The sacrifice, to me, was the absolute peak because it was the team deciding, screw winning, we want to see what happens if we do this dumb thing. And that's the ideal to me. That's always wanted from Blazeball, and perhaps life.
My favorite moment that I experienced would have to be the semi-centennial. That was a train ride.
What does Blazeball mean to you? In a word, and one that'll be shared by many others, I'm sure, community.
To me, Blazeball always has been about the community. We've done so much in the short time we were given.
I was blessed with a community that welcomed me and taught me so much. It became a part of my daily life.
To me, Blazeball means a bunch of characters I put a lot of work into, the reason behind a Discord server I moderate, the subject of some songs I helped co-write, the reason I met someone who's now one of my closest friends. The actual game, I didn't pay much attention to for long, which I expected from the beginning. I never pay attention to things for long. If you'd have told me I'd be here for the end of it, back when I first joined, I would have laughed at you. But here I am, and it's probably your fault, Hazel.
It's hard to put into words. Blazeball opened up a creativity in me that I thought was dead. I've been an artist my whole life, but I had kind of given up on being one anymore. I had stopped making anything and was contending with severe burnout and, of course, pandemic isolation and anxiety. I had never really been involved in a fandom. I had written songs for singing to my friends around a campfire, but never recorded anything or had any desire to. And Blazeball changed all that. It inspired me to create again, things I never dreamed of making. My every spare moment spent in team discords, writing lore and making music and running streams. I made so many dear friends. It became a conduit through which we could all process our collective grief for the world and anger at unjust systems and connect with people all over the globe to share what we had with each other through mutual aid and charity initiatives. Nothing's perfect, but Blazeball meant community.
The game was never the point. It was always a springboard, a creative prompt. The game band created an amazing space to exist in, and I'm forever thankful. Blazeball taught me to grieve healthily in a way I'd never been able to do before. Gave me a space to explore gender and meet people I absolutely adore to this day. It got me back into writing, even just in a small way, and has left us with a veritable raft of collective fan work. The art, the stories, the music, the research papers and analytics, the community we share, and people we met will all outlast the game itself and be a lasting reminder of a fleeting moment of love and horror and grief and life coming out of one of the worst times many of us have lived through. Blazeball was fiercely queer, utterly unhinged, and I adored every second of it. And if I'm lucky, it's left me with people that I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
I'm upset that it shut down, especially in this way, but I can't say I'm surprised. Looking back at the last few months, it was kind of obvious something was gonna have to give. So I think in the back of my mind, I expected something like this to happen, if not the infinite waiting. It still just kind of caught me off guard.
devastated. I feel so adrift. I know it's just a game, and despite it taking up a lot of my attention, I always tried to keep a healthy relationship to it, but it felt like a gut punch to hear it wasn't coming back and everyone had been laid off. I was so looking forward to what the game band was making for us and what we would make in response. I'm sad and angry for the devs that were working on their dream project. The sudden end was a shock. And I feel for everyone that has to figure out how they move forward without ever being able to share what they were working on for so long. With it gone, there's a literal hole in my life that I don't know how to fill yet.
As for what's next, this is not the end. We don't have to let it be the end. The game band may have left the plate, but nothing is stopping us from stepping up to the bat in their place. Keep making art. Keep writing stories. Heck, make a new sim if you want to.
The community isn't dead. I've got some songs to finish and more to write. There are still so many amazing creative people still processing their feelings about the game and making wonderful art, and I look forward to following the work of everyone who ever had a hand in any of it.
That was The Tug by Amatis, one of the people that you heard speaking earlier. This is Zed Games. I'm Hazel, and I'm here with...
Maylee.
And me, Paul.
Hi, me, Paul.
Me, Paul is... Oh, I like that.
That was a beautiful audio homage. Not homage.
I think it was an homage.
Yeah, tribute.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope I did a good job.
You did. I felt the passion of the community.
Yeah.
Burning fire.
We were just talking about Blazeball, well, the song is playing out. It's a bit like Eve, where from the outside the game is somewhat impenetrable without someone introducing you to it. But boy, the stories you hear from it are all very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less people losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in Blazeball, though.
No, there's all the currency is imaginable. All the currency is imaginary. Don't worry about it.
But was there a dark side? Was there an underbelly?
Not that I know of.
I probably was.
And I would have known about it.
Writing prompts. There we go.
Well, we've had a good show, but I'm afraid it's getting close to the end of the hour.
Why are you afraid?
Because it's then I have to walk.
Be not afraid.
Home, and it's scary out there.
Let's hold hands and be strong together.
You don't have to go home though, because
you're right. I won't go home.
We're going to Netherworld, where we, Zed Games, are hosting an indie game dev night where you can come and play some games made by local developers. It is happening right now for the next couple of hours. So if you don't have anything to do on Thursday night and you're near the valley, come out.
The rest of the team has been working hard for hours already, and when we just not. We've been chatting.
I don't know about working hard. I went in there earlier.
Oh, they slacken. We'll have to go down there.
It kind of runs itself, you know.
Nah.
Ooh, Sea of Survivors is there.
Yeah. And many other delicious games for you to sink your teeth into.
Any last words to our dearest listeners?
Any last words before you kill me on air?
No, off air.
Okay. All right.
Sonic Superstar!
Sonic Superstar!
Which is being made by the Balan Wonderworld team. So get
excited.
Nice.
That's weird. Okay.
Naka's in prison. Well, he's not in prison yet, but he's going to go to prison.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night. I will leave you with our little outro. Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
Bye. If you'd like to listen to more, check out our podcast on Spotify.
Or follow us on social media at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.